Central.
Okay, we
want to ambush you. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another interesting episode of the Sport Chat. Today is one of those days that we are joined by people that are making history and marking their mark. And I'm not alone as usual. I'm joined by my partner, Wanda Kaliswayo.
Yeah, as always, we are here at Tembisa. At Limos Place. Shout out to them for hosting us tonight. We are having a fantastic guest. I mean, I've been wanting to interview this guy for, I don't know.
It's been a very long time, right?
It's been a very long time. We have been postponing and stuff, but we are pleased that today, this morning, to be joined by Neville, Chapepa, Ndlovu, who is the head coach for the Johannesburg Central Netball team. They have recently been crowned champions, and they were playing this previous week. It's quite interesting, you know. I remember I was at work doing my show as usual, and I was telling my colleagues to say, you know what, I'll be interviewing male figures who are playing netball, and people were surprised to say, are there males who are playing netball, because it's prominent only to women. But we are happy we just joined again. Baba Neville. Asiqaleke uzazise ukuthi ubaba Neville Chapepa Chapepa, is it a nickname?
No, it's my surname. It's my surname.
And then
Ndlovu.
No, what do you say? Chapepa is your surname. Now
okay,
I'm confused.
All right. Now let me quickly help you out. My name is Neville.
Okay.
And then my stepfather is Chapepa. Then my real surname is Ndlovu.
Okay, now I get it.
So
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah, so Maseko, a little bit of background in terms of ukuthi ubaba usuka phi, uhlangana kanjani netball, and how difficult it is to coach both males and females.
Well, look, I was born a soccer coach, and I happened to coach boys at school, and we're doing very well. We went as far as provincial championships, sometimes national. When I left the school, by the way, I'm a teacher. When I left the school where I was teaching, I then went to a different school. When I got there, I found that there were 3 teams for soccer, but there were 6 coaches there. So I couldn't become a soccer coach there. In the previous school, my friend was a male who was coaching netball. Then when I got to this new school, then I saw that there was no netball happening there. Then I just thought, you know what, I can't break into this soccer area, because there's already a lot of coaches that have been coaching in this school, and they're well known, they've put in their mark. So I had to start netball, open up a ground from the grass there, and put up some poles. You know, in the rural areas you don't have netball courts, so I had to put up some poles, you know, the bicycle wheels. Just turn it up into a netball ring and get the girls to play. So in that particular year, people were surprised, because that team actually reached the provincial championship. I didn't know much about netball at that time, so I had to read a lot of netball rules and stuff, sometimes interpret them incorrectly, but at the end of the day, I ended up where I ended. Then when I came into Johannesburg, I then found 3 girls that were playing netball, and they were using a soccer ball. Then I stepped up to them, I think that was in 2003.
Yes.
I stepped up to them and I said to them, wow guys, what are you doing? I'm playing netball. They said, yeah. And I said, but you're using a soccer ball. They said, now look, we don't have a ball, but we just got what we can. And then we play. And then what I then say to them is, okay, maybe let's get together, let's try and make a team. So that team was started in 2003. It was called Neville Netball. And then we had that team, I think, for 3 years or so. Because of problems that we had, it broke down. I had to start another one in 2004. Then I carried on with that one. Then after some few years, we had to merge the players that were there in 2003 and the new ones, and to bring this one big team, which was then called Johannesburg Central Netball Club, which has been there since that time until now. Most of the players that started there, now I'm coaching their children in the same team. So this is where we are, and we are a team that is very vibrant now. We have about 91 players that are registered in the team. That are registered. There are some that are in the team that we didn't register because they are under 16. Netball South Africa recognizes ladies and gentlemen that are above 16 years old. And then obviously the under 13s and them are not registered. So we have got about 91 registered, plus all other little ones that are not registered. So we have a serious hub that is happening there. One day if you take time, come and look at what's happening there, then you will see what we're talking about. So within that now we've got about 30-40 males that play netball. Then we've got about 30-40 females and a lot of these young ones that play netball. So we've got different divisions and stuff like that. So this is the team called Johannesburg Central Netball. We have made a mark. Indeed
have made a mark.
Yes.
But before we get to Central, I just want to have some background, on your growing up. What kind of sport did you play? So that I want to know what led you exactly to being able to coach football before you moved to netball. What sport you played during your childhood time?
Beautiful. I was a soccer player.
Okay.
And during those times you would play serious positions. Number 7.
I thought you say 6.
No. I'll come to that.
Okay,
number 7. We used to run down the line and cross the ball over for the number 9 to head in.
And then you have to go back.
Thank you. That was our time. So we were great there. And I was playing number 7 at that time when I was still, trying to find myself in soccer. Then I did that and I did very well. And my coach said, now we're going to move you now to position number 8. So I was supporting number 10 and number 9, in the mid-court there. And I played there. And then later on they said, no, we're moving you again. They moved me to number 10. So I was actually the one getting the ball for the number 9, putting those through passes, It was great. And then obviously now, because of the changes in dynamics in the team, I was moved again to number 6. So now I was definitely in the mid-court there. And there was one guy that I used to play with. We would make sure that any ball that is kicked out from the goalkeeper, that side coming in, ends up with us. So we'll divide the court into 2 and say, the field into 2 and say, you come this way, you go this way. If the ball comes that way, it's yours. If it comes this way, it's mine. So we would always get those balls and re-attack again and attack again. Later on, they moved me to number 4. That's where I ended. I was very good with soccer. So so when I came into netball again, I'm bringing this background of soccer and my soccer skills to assist the ladies, in terms of fitness, in terms of that. So that was not a problem.
Football.
But I think when you play soccer, obviously we all have dreams to say, hey, I want to make it to the TSG Premiership, play for Kaizer Chiefs, play for Orlando Pirates. I want to get to your mind to say, what made you transition from football that mindset of football and wanting to make it in football, and then deciding at a later stage to say, football is not mine, let me just go and venture into netball?
All right, I would say this to you, that parents play a very big role.
Absolutely.
In terms of who you become at the end of it all. I was a good soccer player. I'm telling you, I would have played better than Phil Masinga himself. But you know what happens? Our parents will tell you that this football is not going to get you anywhere. You need to go back to school. You need to go school and stuff. So I had to draw back a little bit in soccer and focus more on my school. So I lost that opportunity to become the soccer star that I was going to be. You understand? And listened to my parents to do what is going to give me the money, because at that time soccer didn't give much. It was just the same as any other profession that you can think about. And some people would play soccer for the whole of their lives and get nothing out of it. But as time goes now, there's a lot that is in it. So, and then obviously because of that change, then I moved out of soccer, then I came into netball. But what made me not to continue with soccer? Because when I got into this new school, then there was no soccer that was happening there. So I had to start coaching these netball girls. And at that moment, they did very well. So that was the source of encouragement to say, you know what, I can actually have an impact onto these girls' children, onto these ladies. I can push them to higher heights and make them self-actualize in the sport that they play. So then that exactly happened. And the love of doing that, the benefits of seeing that player become a star actually pushed me to want to continue to do this. Then I continued doing that until we had one or two males coming to join us, and then we continued in that manner. And now we have got males that have joined us, and they're also superstars.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Ndlovu, you mentioned earlier on that you had a foundation of football, and when you transitioned from being a football coach to a netball coach, do you believe that foundation helped you, along learning the sport of netball? Do you believe it helped you to get to the point where you are exactly today?
Yeah, definitely. Look, the foundation and the understanding of the soccer actually helped me to understand how to train a child to become what they are. For me, it did not matter that this is a girl. For me, this is a human being, and this human being must be able to do sport. So people will tell you that the young girls are softer and what. I mean, look, I don't see that. I see a player in them, and then that made me, push them hard to be what they are. Obviously now, take that what I've learned in soccer and take that which I've learned in netball, because I've also had mentors in netball that actually, guided me in terms of what to do. And then obviously bring all that together. My goodness, it brought this coach that everybody is talking about.
So, in terms of the males and females, are you training them the same, or there's a different set of training for both of them? Because obviously they are not the same in terms of physique.
All right, gender to me does not mean difference. Gender to me simply means two individuals. And to me, there is no difference between what a female player can do and what a male player can do. Yes, you can say that the males are a little tougher, a little stronger and stuff like that. I really don't believe that is actually true. Yes, when we're talking about pushing, maybe the pushing can be, but in terms of the skills, no, everybody gets the skills and everybody ready for action.
Okay. Mr. Ndlovu, I want us to come back to being a coach of male football, which is like Wanda said, and also a friend of mine I was just speaking to a friend of mine who was actually very shocked that there's males who plays football. I want to know how is it, and actually because males netball, I believe, gets less attention, attracts less attention as compared to female netball, which is very common. We're used to that. So I want to know how does that, the challenges particularly that you face along being a coach to a male netball.
Well, I think the biggest problem that we have, with that is that once you are coaching males, some people that pass by and they're looking at you and they're like, oh, these gays are playing here. So you are then put in a bracket to say you are gay. But for me, it's not about gender, or it's not about what you want to be or what you are. It's about you playing netball. So to me, it has nothing to do with being gay or not being gay. By the way, I'm not gay, but but I am coaching people that are mixed. You have got straight guys that are playing netball. We have got the ones that are not straight that are playing netball. But to me, all that is irrelevant.
Yes.
What is important is this is a netball player.
Playing the sport.
And netball is just like any other sport. In soccer, we've got ladies playing soccer. Why don't people think like, what is wrong with these ladies? And we clap hands for them. We have got Banyana, we're saying, well done, come, let's go. And then now we have got males playing netball and people have got a problem with that. Then no, we'll obviously have those challenges of people to such things, But I'm telling you, when you have got your team filled up with females and males, the power behind that team becomes greater, because even the females are pushed to their limits by the males that actually come in and assist.
When you started this journey of coaching both males and females, what was your ultimate goal?
Well, the important decision that was made was, let's bring in the males. The reason was to make sure that our ladies they don't relax. You know, when you take a team of ladies and they train on their own, they already know that this one is stronger than this one and this one is stronger than this one. Done. Even your strongest player will know that I'm stronger than everybody. So then where's the challenge for that player? So give them something that's going to be over and above their limits and push them into a newer limit. So that's exactly what we wanted to do. We planned to make sure that we bring the males to push the ladies even more. Now with the males, then we take the males to play against other males to push them even more. So yeah, that is the setup and that's the mindset.
So how have the males then been able to adapt to playing netball? Because as the coach, you are not treating them based on those gender differences, and you're not treating them based on what society is saying. But how have they themselves as individuals been able to adapt to that kind of sport?
Well, to be frank with you, they do love netball, and some of them they live netball as in living, not as in going away from it. They live netball. They love netball. It's their life. Now, if you go to them and say, you know what, no more netball for you, I think you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem because they really like the sport. They are passionate about it, and some of them have got this, you know, these skills, and they become coaches to some of the ladies that are in netball. You understand? So they've actually welcomed the idea of playing netball, and they are so great at it. And if you look at the guys playing netball, I'm telling you, you will see that there is something greater that they bring in netball than the ladies would actually bring. You know, I'm not saying the ladies are better, but I am saying, I'm saying there's that extra jump, there's that extra 10, there's that extra thing that they do, which then brings netball to life. If you watch them play, you will love it.
So I know that sometimes when you grow up, there are some lessons that you feel like you should have learned at a younger age. What are some of the lessons you feel like we as the younger generation need to learn at a younger age that you have learned when you were older?
Well, people tend to fail to understand that life does not begin at 40. Life starts the day you were born. So the moment you begin to come together with everybody and understand everybody and belong to a group or a team, your life begins to change and people begin to understand you within that social fabric. So what happens is that as a young man, sometimes you think like you will live your own life, you do your own thing. But there's nothing about living your own life, you're not in a vacuum. You live in a place where there are people. So people need to come together, learn to change their own dynamics within a group. You'd find some little girls failing to understand everybody else because they think life is about them. And obviously, and the same will happen with the boys. They think that they are the ones, but there's nothing like that. People must understand that we all work together for the good of everybody. And you learn something from me, I learn something from you. That's how it is. Yes. So we are not islands.
So Sir, before you, I want to know, before you got to Johannesburg Central Netball, I want to know, have you ever coached a team, either football or netball, where you felt like, no man, these people are nothing is going according to my plan, I feel like quitting all of this?
Yes, it has happened. I think I alluded to it, that when I started here, it was called Neville Netball Club.
Yes, you have.
I put up a lot of girls to play netball. It was girls at that time. And then we had a lady from Department of Sports who came to join the team. And she promised the ladies that she's going to buy them the kit, she's going to buy them this, buy them techies, and give them things from the department and stuff. So the ladies couldn't see who I am. Then they would see the new lady as their lady who's going to bring the change that they want. Then what then happens is the disrespect came in and stuff like that. I didn't feel like quitting. Actually, I quit. I left them. And when I left them, they were continuing with this lady. And I think after 2 months or so, that team was normal. because I mean she was just promising things that she couldn't deliver. Then that's when I had to come back now, take the ladies from Neville and the ones that I had been training in Berea and put them together to form what we call now Johannesburg Central Netball Club, this team.
Yeah, that's what we are focusing on today, and I think it's the name that is really making noise right now.
Yeah, definitely, yes. Yeah.
So, moving from the background that you've just given us and going to the netball itself, there were the Male National Championships that took place from the 12th to the 16th of April, and you guys were eventual winners of that tournament. How was the experience been like?
Well, when we went to that national championship, I think we were well prepared because Johannesburg had we had our own trials. We chose the best out of Joburg. We put them together into a squad. We trained them, and then after that we took them to the national championships. We were put in a group that was in one group where we were supposed to then play our championship there. So what happened then is when we played them, we actually played, I'm not sure how many teams, maybe the captain will remember, but I think it was 5-6 teams. We beat all of those teams. The teams that we put in the group stages, I think we beat them 100 goals plus each.
I think it is 115.
There you go. There was 115, there was 100, and then there was other goals. There was only one team that we got about 80 something. Yeah. And that's the team that we played with in the final. And then when we were in the final, remember we had planned better for them.
Yeah.
We beat them 115 now. You know, that was one of the worst goals that the NSA has ever seen happen. So it was 115 goals. I don't know what they scored, but it was some little goals. It was less than 30. Yeah, so it was really hectic. But the boys were hyped up. They did their best. Look, we were second to none. Even in the play, the display of the game itself, we were great. But we will note that there are other teams that had not come in. You know, teams from KZN were not in because of the COVID-19 situation and stuff. If they were there, you know, it was going to be a very tough, tournament. But yeah, we
so
still.
Say that they made it easy for you guys to win.
Yeah, for them not being there, it was easy because we know that our challenge normally comes from that side. You know, if they were there, we would have went into the final, but we wouldn't have got 115 goals. We would have got maybe less than that. We could have won as well. You know what I'm saying?
So besides the technical side
Yes.
of what do you think encouraged the players and gave them that winner's mindset?
Well, when we were at the championship, we had a strategy that we brought in to say everybody must play. And obviously that got to everybody to say, I'm going to be given a chance to play. And we say to each person, once we give you a chance to play, you need to pull in your best. Then what we then did was to make sure, as a coach, I was to make sure that I'll start with my players that are still developing, put them in on the first quarter and stuff, make them run, you know, push as much as they can. Once they are tired, now bring in the seniors to step up the game. So then what we then have is a situation where we are improving our shooting on every quarter because we are bringing experience everywhere. So instead of our game going up and going down and going up again, so it's slowly going up from start to finish. So our highest point now is at the end. So at the end of the day, everybody is happy that they are playing. I remember in that game that you say, we played one of our shooter in many games. And then in the final, we took him out. So he stayed outside for 3 quarters. And then when you put him in, my goodness, he was shooting like he's crazy. Because in that 15 minutes, he scored 35 goals. Now you can tell, in 15 minutes, normally you want to score 12 goals, 10 goals. Yeah. But because he was hungry to go in there, and he was sitting outside, says, when is my chance going to come? Was the coach telling the truth that everyone is going to play? Looks like I'm not playing in this final. And all of a sudden, boom, you in. Oh my goodness, it became something else.
Okay, Coach, like serious jump in with me. So, Coach, I want to know, as you know, as you have to choose the best to play in the national team, what is it that you'd say you particularly look at? As you're saying that everyone had to play. So I want to know, what is it that you particularly look at, even if the person is not scoring goals, but what is that common thing that you see it as a very critical thing that this person has to have in order to participate in the championship?
Well, I don't know if I can say it's about what the person has. I think it has nothing to do with what the person has. It has to do with, can the person listen to what the coach is saying?
Okay.
Yeah, it's the other way around. It's, look, if the coach says to you, go do this and this and this, and you go and do it good, that's what we're looking for. But if you can't do it, tough luck, come and sit outside. You know? yeah, I mean, look, it's about that. Yes, we also need individual skill, we need, the agility of the player, the strength, mental, set of the player. We need those things. But somebody can be a brilliant player, but if they can't listen, tough luck, you can't be in there.
I know that the aim of the championship was to select, I think, 35 players to form part of the netball 35-man squad.
Yes.
How many players were selected from your team?
Oh my goodness, do I have the numbers?
Please don't say it's the entire team.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm not sure, but I think when I looked at it, out of the 35, we had about 18 or so people that were chosen from Johannesburg.
Wow.
From Johannesburg. Remember, I wasn't representing myself there.
Yeah.
I was representing Johannesburg.
Yeah.
So there were 18 or so people.
All from Johannesburg.
From Johannesburg.
Oh, okay.
Remember, there's other 9 provinces. I mean, there's other 8 provinces here.
Yeah, exactly.
But we did not now, if you have got 35 and you have got 18, it means the other provinces, they're sharing the 17.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how good we are.
I know that during that particular tournament that we are talking about, I think there are 4 players who won Best Shooter, Best Defender, Most Promising Player, and also the Best Overall Player. Were any of your players in that list?
Yes, I think we had about 6. Remember, we have got the under 23s that we're playing there. We also have got the senior players that we're playing there. So from the best whatever else was given, I think we had about 6 of them that came from us.
Okay. I think we should bring the male figures to share their experience with the tournament, to share the journey
of netball in overall.
And share what it's like to listen to the coach. I mean,
it was very good to listen to the coach, be the captain of the team. It's very nice. It's very nice.
Yeah, and it's really interesting
because the benefits.
It's interesting to see male figures playing in netball, because really the common sport it is football. So I think the male figure we would do.
She has trials.
Okay, I guess we'll start with the female then, because
this conversation is quite interesting. Now it's about to become more interesting because we are joined by the captain of the female Johannesburg Central Netball Club, Kamogelo Maseko. Thank you very much, babes, for.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Who's about your pop?
Nah, not really. I just love people.
So how has the experience been like? Take us through the journey. How did you join Johannesburg Central Netball team, and how has things been going?
So it's actually a funny story. I started playing netball when I was 6 because of peer pressure. Like all the girls play netball, like in grade 1. So to spend time with other girls, you have to play netball. So I started playing netball, and up until I joined a local team, I think I was in grade 5, 2013. Yeah, I was in grade 5, and it was called Levites, and I played netball for like 3 years there, until teams have politics. I mean, we're all girls, and so I'm one person who I don't like drama. So to protect my own peace, I just walk away from toxic situations. So I joined JCNC 2015, and it's been my home since.
Just to take it back, like Mr. Ndlovu mentioned earlier on how, parents actually have an influence of what we become in the future. I want to know, were your family very supportive of you playing sport and not going, taking academic route, actually?
I like the way Coach laughs.
That means there's some sort of
problem.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. Like, nothing is guaranteed, especially in sports. So I don't think any parents from the get-go is like, what, go for it. Or so my parents were skeptical, like, I don't wanna lie, and especially because with netball there's no guarantee like money back. For especially black parents, it's whatever you do, you must bring back income. So habanta chelete, it must come back. So for my parents, it was like every time chota yaunamela, it's dad's, but it doesn't come back. So how are we gonna get it back? Until they saw that, she can actually make it professionally and you can get income from it. Then that's when they actually saw me playing. Yeah, but other than that, I don't think if they ever saw me play, they'd.
That means you're very talented, passionate. For you to be able to influence them with seeing you playing, that means you're pretty talented.
Prior to you playing the championship that we're currently on the 12th to the 16th of April, what other tournaments have you partook in, and what has been your favorite tournament thus far?
So I'm actually a national player, and for me, my favorite tournament was when I was debuting against Malawi.
How was it?
So it was a very beautiful experience. Like, on a professional level, playing with other professionals, people would expect things to be a lot easier because everyone knows, like, everyone is there for their job because they specialize in that position. But the pressure is actually 2 times more. Like, you actually have to play because you specialize in that position and it's actually what you're called to do. But for me, that's my personal favorite tournaments because representing my country, who wouldn't,
So, like you're saying, representing the country, I want to know, as you are the captain, what are some challenges or obstacles that you have come across as the captain of Johannesburg Central Netball particularly?
It's a local team and you find every kind of player from grassroots level to semi-pro, you find different types of players and we all from different kinds of areas, and the challenge with a local team is they're at different goals, they're at different reasons. We don't play netball for the same reasons. For some it's a hobby, for some it's a way of life, so the challenge is there's a thin line because the way you, like the discipline, the values, we have different values. So as a captain, I have to take that into consideration and think, there's Mang who views netball this way, there's Mang who views, and I have to accommodate them, and I have to consider that this one is still on a grassroots level, but she still has to play to grow as a netball player. So I think that's where the challenge is. But other than that, I think it's every leader's, as a leader, you will have that where there are people who have the same goal but different values and principles.
How difficult is it to be the captain? Because I know that as a captain, you are obviously a leader. When your coach is not there, you should be the one assuming the responsibility of being like the coach in the absence of the coach.
You're 100%. It is very difficult. I don't want to lie. It's not as easy as I make it seem. But because leading, I feel, is in my DNA, I'm able to take on any challenge. Like for example, when coach is absent, I'm able to also lead the boys. I lead the boys. I lead, young under 19s, under 21s. I'm just, because it's in me. So regardless of, I think, my position, I just feel like I'm like that as an individual. So it just comes naturally.
Okay, just to cut this short, as you said, you are in a rush. I want to know, what are your plans for the future for Kamogelo Maseko as an individual, not just as a captain of Johannesburg Central Netball?
So for me personally in the sports, internationally, because I feel like as much as I've reached the highest level in the country, I just want to maintain my position in the national team firstly here. And then, yeah, I'm just looking internationally to just play a domestic league and just grow in that international platform.
Do you think as women in netball you are supported enough, especially when we look at townships around us, Soweto, Soweto? Do you think women, especially the sport that we are discussing now, netball, do you think they are supported by the government, by the communities that we live in to make their future bright?
Personally, I don't think the problem is netball players, because we have enough netball players. The problem is, like I feel like a coach can make or break you. So looking, for example, townships, there's a lack of infrastructure. There are a lot of netball players. Township-wise, walking, Jay, you will see a group of young girls who play netball, but they don't go anywhere because, like I said, your coach makes or breaks you. So we have lack of coaches in South Africa, lack of infrastructure. There are a lot of resources. It's just that people don't have access to them. They don't know how to get them. And for me, I feel like if you're a girl and you play netball, it's just underrated. Like, oh, okay. Like, how many people watch netball? How many people understand netball? It's just a sport that is there, that is played for fun. Because that is how the government perceives netball. It's not a professional sport. We don't get any, you can't play netball as a professional career like soccer. You can't get source of income from netball, because that's how government perceives netball. It's just another sport that you play for fun. So that's why from grassroots level, parents never take it seriously. Players never take it seriously. We just play it for as a rehabilitational sport or a hobby.
What are some of the things that you would love to see, especially change in netball? Like you're saying, it's not supported. If someone was listening right now, what would be your arguments to say this and this should change? Or I feel if the government or whoever can implement this and this, I think the direction of netball would take a different route.
I mean, netball players work as hard as soccer players. We also get called up internationally to domestic leagues. If not, I think we have the most players getting called up. But I don't think people even know that, or they know that exists. So I feel like, firstly, we also need our own channels for netball. Besides small documentaries, programs that people don't even know that they're playing once in a while. I feel like we need a channel where I can just dedicate my time and say, Hakitabula channel 2 or 3 Super Sport or whatever, I'm watching strictly netball. Like, it's just netball, firstly. Secondly, turn it into a professional sport. We train as hard. I mean, we play as hard, like it's still a sport like any other sport. So turn it professionally. We deserve that source of income. We deserve, because we also invest our time in it. And again, if we represent our country, I mean, again, we invest as much as, and if not, our results are even better.
Yeah, just to add something there, she touched the nerve. Look, we are looking at the young ladies that are unemployed, but they do play netball. Now, obviously, if they get a job somewhere, they will leave that team and go and play and work. So I'm thinking the municipalities must actually look at reinvesting in their own players that they have. Because in Johannesburg, we have quite a lot of good players. So if the municipalities say, let's get all these girls to employment. They employ these girls, they give them time for training. Obviously, they will still bring back the results for Johannesburg. Remember, we all want to say we are a municipality that is action-based. So what is it that the municipalities are doing? They must actually create a forum where these netball players are channeled to get employment, bursaries and stuff within that municipality to keep them in that area. Because normally she is here. Tomorrow she might actually get an invitation to Cape Town to come and study whatever else. She's gone. And then what we do? Then we now say Cape Town has got better players, Cape Town is doing better than us. No, it's not that. It's our system that is failing us in Johannesburg to maintain and support these players. I just want to get that.
Thank you very much, Kamogelo. Yeah, you did say a lot, man. It's a support, and it's very, like you say, and I think I would agree with you on that people are not informed more about netball, because some like the championship just happened. Some people did not even know about that. So I hope all your wishes do come true. That all that you wishes to happen may come true.
Yeah, and obviously all the best to your trials, because I know that you are rushing to the trials. But judging by your height, are you a goal scorer or defender between the two?
I'm actually a goal scorer.
Okay.
All the best. Okay.
Thank you, Karen.
I think now we should bring a male figure to represent, because now at least we've gotten a bit of perspective from the female figure. Now we are joined by a male figure.
Neyma.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, man. And I want to start it, like I said earlier on with Ndlovu, that it's very uncommon for males to play football, because it attracts netball. I keep on saying football because I'm used to football, because it attracts less attention. You know, we don't know much as let me just say in the country about male netball. How has it been for you as an individual playing the sport netball?
Okay, all I can say is when you've got the love for sport, and
passion,
when it's within you, you have to make sure that you fall in love with it, and you do it regardless of what people say out there. You mustn't consider to say, okay, people are saying netball it's commonly known for females, so I must stop playing. Just because it's within you, you have to make sure that you create time for it, you go for it, and you achieve whatever you want to achieve in the sport.
As Bochi is saying that I'm taking it from taking it a little bit back.
Yeah.
As Nathaniel, like how did you start Udlali netball? Like what informed that decision to say, you know what, let me join a netball male team?
Okay, my story begins from primary level. God blessed me with 3 sisters, and it happened that both 3 sisters were playing netball from at primary level. So what happens with me, I was the youngest in the family, so wherever they go, I have to go with them and support them. So I just fell in love with netball because of the skills that were displaying, and before I knew it, I found myself, even when they're done with their primary studies, I found myself being in netball primary, and sometimes I'll be the only male there, and you'll be called by so many names, but I've never given up because I loved it.
Yeah. So like you say, you've been called with all the names, the backlash that you receive, for playing netball. How did you deal with all of that? What gave you a source of strength in receiving all the backlash from different kind of people?
Okay, like I said before, if you have got the love of netball within you, regardless of the challenge that you might come across along the way, challenges doesn't matter. What matters is the goal that you want to achieve in life. Whatever you come across, in this life, as long as you are alive, you meet challenges, you meet people who dislike what you do. But does that mean that you have to stop whatever you are doing for the sake of abantu bazotini? No, you have to keep on, and you have to carry on. And if you can't carry yourself, no one else will come and say, okay, let's go together. You must carry yourself so that when the coach comes, you will be able to carry you, just because you've shown that you've got that thing and you've got the love of netball within you.
Yeah, talking about goals, what is your goal specifically? What are you aiming to achieve as a male netball player?
Okay, personally, what I'm aiming to achieve is not something that I can say when I look back, I'll be able to say, okay, I've achieved 1, 2. What I want to achieve personally is to achieve other male netballers whom, when I look back, they'll say, I'm where I am today just because of this gentleman. That's my main goal.
Interesting. So now, let's take it a bit back, especially particularly to last year. COVID-19 is something that it affected a lot of people, and I wanted to know, did it affect, as an individual and as a player, did it affect you? Because it affected a lot of players mentally, because not playing, you used to playing or training every day, now you're not playing every day, it affects you mentally. How did it affect you as a player?
I can say it's really affected me so much, but thank God we have got a coach who is always ahead of everything.
But you did, of course.
Yeah. So we're doing what we call some online trainings.
Okay.
You find that I've got about 6 chairs at my apartment.
Yeah.
So I use those 6 chairs to do, personal training. Each and every small space when it comes to netball matters. You can do a lot of things using a small space that you have. So as much as it affected us as a team to say, okay, we cannot meet and we cannot do this together, but as an individual, I've never stopped playing netball.
I mean, people always complain about, the titles. You know how, for example, in music, DJs would say, don't call me a female DJ, I am a DJ. Do you have a problem with people referencing you as a male netball player and not as a netball player?
Personally, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you call me a netball player, it's fine with me. And if you call me a male netball player, still it's fine with me, because it's all within the netball circle.
Yeah.
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 Let's take it now to what we've been talking about, playing for the championship. I want to know, as a captain, you were part of the championship, right?
Yes, I was.
How was the experience for you being able to be chosen particularly? But I don't think you will be chosen because you are the captain. Tell us about the experience of, participating in the championship and being able to bring the trophy back home.
All I can say is it starts from your mind to say, okay, this is what I want to go and do. To listen to the instruction that you are given during the camp, and to carry each other as a team, because you don't go there and show your own skills. You complement each other as a team, because at the end of the day, when people are talking about, they don't talk about individuals, they talk about a team. So the thing that we did was like to say, okay guys, whatever we're going to do, if one makes a mistake, it's a mistake for the team. Let's correct it. Once you do it once, there's no the second time. Meaning that as a team we carried each other to the national champs with our coach always beside us and giving us instructions. We made sure that we achieve what we wanted to achieve. You could tell from the camp before we got that the vibe is going to bring gold back home.
Yeah. Besides the championships that you guys won, there are also 2 trophies that you won over the weekend. Coach, I want to include you in this. As a coach, how do you instill that winning mentality in players?
Well, look, it does not start from playing the tournament. It starts from training. So it is the training that matters. And if we've got our way of training and we've got our own drills, what we do normally is shaped by what we want to achieve at the end of that week or tournament. Now, when we are going to a tournament, we have got teams that we play against. And when we go there, we know that that player is a problem and plays like this. So when we are beaten, we go back home and say, how best then can we go mark that player? Then we do some certain drills there that we come up with to actually address the problem that we have. You might find a player that allows this shooter to run at the back or to run in front or just move the way they want. Now what we then do is we train in such a way that we want to be able to restrict those kind of movements. You understand? So from there then we go back to the tournaments and we play. And then we look at how effective was our plan to come up against certain players that are playing certain teams. And if they are all effective and it leads to this winning and the gold and whatever, as you are saying. So we were a team that had superstars. At one time, I remember we had about 12, 13 Telkom League players. That was like something else. Obviously, they thought they are maybe a little bit bigger and stuff, so they left the team. So I had to take my under-19 to say, now it's you who's going to be playing in the senior team. Now those girls have grown, are the ones now who have started winning the gold and stuff. You understand? So it takes planning, it takes training, it takes focus, it takes commitment for us to be able to win a tournament. Lately, we are winning quite a lot. We actually won 2 in Soweto. In that one, our senior players won the gold, Slender here, the young girl was the player of the tournament in that same tournament. And then our under-19s also won first prize in the tournament again in Soweto in female. Then we had our under-21s also winning that. Then we had our males also coming in from the championship with gold. So we are the golden team now.
Do you ever stop being a coach? Because we know there's a stereotype that sports players are wild. Like if they're not on the field, when they're just out there living their lives, they're like the craziest bunch of people. But do you as a coach, when you step off the field or step out of the stadium, are you just like, okay, coach hat off, let's put on another hat?
Well,
Just to add on that, how's the lifestyle of the coach?
my goodness.
Balling.
My goodness, you don't want to be a coach. You just don't want to be a coach, because to me it looks like I've just got a chain of children. I've got a chain of children. Because when you look at my life when I'm off the court, right when we finish training, there's 2, 3, 4 faces coming to me. The first face would say, "Coach, I don't have transport money going home." And now as a coach, you're looking at this player stays in Tembisa and we're in Yovo, and that's 30 rand. And then another one says, "Coach, I've got this problem." And then someone just gives you a big emotional problem like this. And then as a coach now, you change from being a coach to be a counselor. You become a mentor, you become a mother, you become a father, you become a psychologist, you become a social worker, you become a teacher, you become whatever else. You become a pastor, you become everything. Because now you should be able to tell these people that come to you and say everything is going to be all right. But once you say that, you must make sure everything gets all right. Because the same player will come back to you and say, "You know what? Yeah, you know what? You said everything is not right. Now what are you going to be saying after that?" You understand?
Yeah.
So sometimes some of them get sick and they say, "Coach, I'm sick." And they tell you once, they tell you twice. What do you end up doing? You get there. You get there and you are like, "Okay, all right, let's pray." You know.
And you pray with them.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. So, Coach, I want to know, what is the plan for moving forward for Johannesburg Central Netball? As like you've mentioned, you've won, several you've won several of tournaments.
Yes. What I've started doing is to restructure Johannesburg Central Netball. Bring in a strong executive that is going to deal with these little problems that the players are having. Because I've got 91 players plus the unregistered ones all coming to me for problems, then that's going to be a problem. I won't have a life. So what I've done then is to break it up and have the structure right in terms of your executive within the team, and then have your captains running and being effective. But at the same time, I've actually taken some of the players and then made them coaches for the other 16. So I then become the overall coach who then looks at what this coach is doing and what that coach is doing. As I'm sitting here, my under 13, 16, 19, they're busy at training. I'll send you what they were doing
Big
today.
up to you, because
Yes.
you're empowering them.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And when I'm not there training, I don't even worry.
Yeah.
Because I've got people that are doing the physical side of it, the technical side of it and stuff. Sometimes I get to the netball court and just sit. Just sit and eat and watch what they're doing. You know? Yeah. So that's the plan. Going forward, we're trying to empower these ones. Unfortunately enough, I've been chosen the course presenter for umpires in Johannesburg. So I'm actually empowering them to be able to do more in terms of that. And at the same time, we are providing job opportunities for them in terms of coaching in schools and stuff like that. At this moment, as I stand here, I think we have more than 15 of them coaching in different schools.
Yeah, and in closing, we're having a serious problem in South Africa of gender-based violence and labeling people gays, lesbians, and stuff like that. I'm directing this question to you. You know, what do you think needs to be done, especially in communities, to when it comes to educational part of it, for you guys to feel safe and feel free to be who you are?
Okay, all I can say is, for one to feel safe and free, being able to walk up straight each and every time when you close your gate is to remain the person you are regardless of what is around you. Because like I mentioned earlier on to say, you should not change the person you are just because abantu basotini. People must learn to appreciate who you are, the way you are. And at the same time again, you must appreciate people for who they are. I cannot force people, to love me. Neither I can't be forced to love people. If they love me, they have to love me the way I am. If I present myself out there as a gay person, I must be loved as a gay person. If I present myself out there to be the straight person, I must be honored as a straight person. And coming to gender, and violence thing, all we can say is, let's respect each other. Let's, just run in your lane, and and do what you're supposed to do in your lane. Don't just overlap into someone's lane. That's why we have got those people now. If you overlap into someone's lane, you now want to control your lane in someone's lane. At the end of the day, you've got two people that you want to control. All I always say is we cannot have two coaches. For it to be effective, there must be Mr. Chapepa and there must be Nathan. Meaning what? Meaning that I must learn something from him. He must learn something from me. At the end of the day, we are a team. When he says, Nathan, do something, by the way, he called me for sure.
Why?
When because during the game, there are so many voices that are there. But when his voice shouts for sure, I know that this is my coach voice and it means something. Something must change. That's all I can say to say. There's a voice that always tells you that, you must keep going on, and that voice is within your heart. And that voice is the one that carries you in everything that you do to remain positive. Because if you focus on the negative side of it, who's going to focus it on your positive side? Nobody.
What has been the most humiliating act that has been shown to you?
I can say the most humiliating act that has been shown to me is to be called gay while I was still playing netball. I remember we were at a community, we went to a community, it was in, how to call this? It's Motaken. Yeah, we were there. Motaken.
Run from
Okay. Then there were a group of guys that were passing there, were busy playing, and they stopped. And at first they were giving positive comments, and they started shouting names. Gays, look at these gays, how they are playing, all sorts of stuff. But one thing I love about male that play netball, that word called gay will not remove even anything from them. In fact, it gives them strength to move on. If you want to see the strength in a male netball player, call him names while still he's playing. He will show you some other skills that you've never seen in netball. So that's one thing that has disturbed me while playing netball.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe just to answer the question, when you're looking at gender-based violence, obviously we are talking as people who look at the gay group of guys as maybe out of order or whatever. But the biggest question is, what is it that it has to do with you? Because if the person chooses to be gay, it is a choice, and this is a conscious choice that one chooses. It has nothing to do with your own choice, and it doesn't make you want to say, I want to beat up this person because they are this. You understand? So we do not appreciate people who insinuate differences in terms of gender. In our team, we say that we have got players. I think this word gay, I'm saying it for the second or third time in my whole life, because to me it does not exist. To me, we see players that come onto court and they play netball and they do their best in it. But if you look at people who are busy beating up ladies and whatever else you say, those are not people. These are animals. These are animals. Because if you are a human being, you have got what is called a conscience. A conscience will tell you that what you're doing is wrong. If she's in love with me and she says, now I don't want any more, why should I beat her? No, let her go. I'll find somebody else. And let me go. Then she will find somebody else. You understand?
Yeah.
So there is no one who is insured for me. There's no one who's a permanent, who has got a name tag or for me to say this is my one, because you didn't bring that person to earth. You know. So I think we need to warn those people out there to say they must stop this. It's irrelevant.
Yeah. Coach and Nathan, thank you very much for joining us. This has been a very interesting conversation, and congratulations to all that you've won. And like I said in the beginning, that you are making history and you're marking your market exactly at doing that. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is it. No pictures.